Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, back to another video, and back into my life. Hi, how are you? Doing well? Great, how am I? I'm doing fantastic, thank you for asking. For those of you who don't know me, I am your girl Mel, just a silly little Canadian girl living her life abroad, currently in the UK, getting her master's degree. Trying to get her master's degree. So today's video, this was like just a random thing I did, and I was like, you know what, let's make a video, because everybody's on the internet talking about their diet and what they're doing and what they're eating. Everybody just loves talking about it. So I thought, you know what, why don't I talk about it? So this is my video. I did the carnivore diet for the month of April. I was gonna say for 30 days, but it was longer than 30 days because I started right after my birthday, so technically it was 34 days. But I did the carnivore diet for about a month, and this is the video. These are my results. Here are my thoughts. Here are my vibes. Yeah, let's get into it. All right, so first, please make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe before we get into the video, because it literally costs you nothing to like. And also stick around. I make a lot of videos about many different things, usually about lifestyle, travel, and health. And I'm just very entertaining, so stick around. All right, so first I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what the carnivore diet is. If you haven't seen it all over your social medias the past few months, it's like a really, really intense ketogenic diet. You are wiping out all sugars, all carbs, all starches, all fruits, all vegetables, everything, and you are only eating meat. Specifically, meat, dairy, like anything that comes from an animal, so milk. The carnivore community loves to advocate for raw milk, but I know that is illegal in Canada. You cannot buy raw milk in Canada. You can buy it here in the UK. Did I buy it? No, because it's very expensive, but I'm thinking about it. And you can buy it in the US, where a lot of these carnivore people are based. And you can also eat eggs and seafood, because again, things that come from animals. You're just thinking, does this come from an animal? And then you're gonna eat it. So meat, poultry, red meat, you know, they say red meat is king. They're talking about ruminant meats like lamb and bison and beef. So majority I did eat that, but I also included some chicken and some pork, because variety is the spice of life. I ate a lot of eggs, and seafood, I had a lot of salmon and shrimp. And you could also use butter. You can cook with butter and salt. I will say this right now. I also used pepper and garlic. Sue me. That's what I use. Those aren't really allowed. Just the salt is allowed. But that is what the carnivore diet is. Now, why would you do the carnivore diet? There are a few reasons that people say. So ketogenic diets are very good for people with epilepsy. So if you have epilepsy, maybe you should do a ketogenic diet. Also, people with diabetes, it helps like level your blood sugar, because obviously you don't have any friggin' sugar entering your body. So it's leveled. Apparently it promotes like health with autoimmune diseases. One of the biggest carnivore advocates, but technically she's on the Lion diet, which is Michaela Peterson. So she had a lot of autoimmune diseases, and then she switched to this diet, which was just red meat, water, and salt, and they went away. So that's like the big kind of catch. If you have a lot of autoimmune diseases, a lot of people who have skin issues like psoriasis or allergies, that's kind of who it's geared towards. Because, don't ask me why, this is the general gist of what they're saying. I'm not a doctor. I am just some girl who has the internet, and I'm just telling you what they're telling me, so you can understand this video. That's why people do the carnivore diet. It helps with autoimmune diseases, helps with blood sugar, so it helps with people with diabetes. It's a ketogenic diet for people who just want to do a ketogenic diet. It's just like a really hardcore one. And obviously, because it's like a diet, it will help you lose weight. Because if you're eating nothing, just hardcore protein, obviously you're going to lose weight. So those are kind of the main things that the carnivore diet helps with. Other random ones I've heard is it helps your gums. Like people are like, my gums stopped bleeding. Another one I heard is it helps with inflammation. So joint pain and inflammation, that's another thing. All of these though are like more lesser claims, like people just say them. Like, oh, I went on the carnivore diet and my knee stopped hurting. Okay, good for you. So yeah, these are all the benefits, and this is why people do the carnivore diet. So now that we know what the carnivore diet is and why people do it, I will tell you why I did it. I love fad diets. I love them. I did the Beyonce lemonade diet back in university. Crazy. I don't know. I just like have such an all or nothing mentality. So when diets have that kind of like, this is the hard line, you can only eat this and that's it. I'm really good at following rules. I'm not very good at managing. Like I'm not really good at letting myself have a treat sometimes and not other times. So I love strict diets because I need someone telling me what to do 24/7 for me to stick to anything. So that was the first one. And the second thing, I love meat. I quite often call myself a carnivore. I love meat. I'll always eat meat. So like anything that tells me to reduce meat, that's hard. Like I don't like a diet where it's like, don't eat red meat. Oh God. I love meat. So that's also reason number 2. And reason number 3, we got to get our body ready for summer. We got to get our bodylicious for summer. So those were my reasons for doing the carnivore diet. Okay, so I'm going to go into detail a bit more about what I ate on the carnivore diet exactly. In the first 14 days, I wasn't having dairy. I wanted to do the carnivore diet, but sans dairy because I have dairy issues, I think. These have always been speculated though. I've never gotten a test for it. It's always just been the vibes. I think I have dairy issues. So sticking to that, for the first 14 days, I was just doing meat. Although I was using butter, because butter's never given me an issue with anything. And I had to cook the meat in something. I was sticking mostly to red meat, so a lot of ground beef, full fat ground beef. Not full fat, but like the highest concentration of fat that they allow in my supermarket, which was 25% fat, 75% meat. Because fat is important on this diet, because you are not getting your energy from sugar, because you're not eating any. You're getting it from fat. So you're trying to eat a lot of fat. So I would use the highest percentage fat ground beef. I would have like cheap cut steaks because I'm a student, I'm poor. I cannot get nice cut steaks. Butter, I would cook it in butter. I would get a lot of smoked salmon like that. And you have to read the ingredients. You have to just make sure there's salmon in there, which there was. Because sometimes they do flavor ones, so don't get that. I do smoked salmon, a lot of eggs. I was living off eggs. I was eating so many eggs a day, especially at the beginning. I think I was like eating like 6 to 7 eggs a day because they were cheaper than everything else, you know, because again, price was a big thing for me. And yeah, that was mostly it. I did have some pork at the beginning, but I didn't really like the way I cooked pork, and pork's not good if you can't really flavor it. So I didn't really eat pork that much, and I kind of cropped it out. And then I ate chicken. I didn't eat chicken a lot at the beginning, but then at the end, I ate a lot of chicken by the end because, again, the price, I was just looking at the price of things, and it was much better. Also, I was eating a lot more by the end of the month than I was at the beginning of the month. At the beginning of the month, I found it quite hard to eat my required amount of calories in meat because you're getting very mouth bored with meat, especially ground beef. That is the most boring thing to eat ever. And it's like, just doesn't feel good in your mouth. Like plain ground beef just does not feel good in your mouth. So I switched to chicken by the end. Also, after the first 14 days, I did include dairy because I was literally dying. I had no energy, and again, I just could not eat enough meat. So I added dairy. The dairy I added in that saved me was whole milk. I added in whole milk, so I would drink like a cup of it here and there. Also, I added in cottage cheese. I would have preferred to get the full fat cottage cheese, but it's so expensive here. I had to get the low fat one because it's like half the price. You have to pay for that fat. They're making you pay for it. So I would have preferred to get full fat cottage cheese, but I just got the cheaper low-fat cottage cheese, but that really saved me too. Really. I did not get cheese. It's very hard to get kind of like the raw, really pure cheese. Most cheese has a lot of additives in it. And I did not eat like anything like cream cheese. Like things like spreads have things in them because they make them that kind of consistency. So I stayed away from things like that, like cream cheese. I also didn't have sour cream. I also didn't have, a lot of people have like Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt on this diet. I did not because I don't like plain Greek yogurt. I don't know, I just don't like it. I might add it back in later with fruits, but that's a different topic. So now I'll just show you some pictures of usual meals that I ate. I ate ground beef and egg so much because it's the cheapest one. I ate that so much. After I got the cottage cheese action in, I would mix in the cottage cheese with the ground beef. That was so much better for mouthfeel. Oh my gosh. This is a tip for anybody who wants to do carnivore or is just like bulking and needs to eat a bunch of ground beef. Mix in cottage cheese. It makes it 10,000 times better. Sometimes I would put shrimp in the ground beef. I don't know why. I just would, just to break up the feel of the beef in my mouth. I would just put anything in my ground beef. Anything I could, I would try to put in that ground beef. Steak and eggs was my favorite meal. I would make steak and eggs quite a lot. I'm gonna go have some right now. This is something I would usually eat. This is steak, 2 eggs, cottage cheese. The 2 eggs, I would either fry them or boil them, just depending on the mood. But it's very fast, very easy, and I love it. Do not skip the cottage cheese. Steak cottage cheese combo is so good. Unmatched. I'm telling ya. Give you a money shot. Another thing is I'd have chicken. I would just make I would marinate chicken wings or chicken drumsticks in butter, and I would just put some salt, pepper, and garlic and put them in the oven. I was really fond of that dinner. That was good. And I felt that was like easier to eat. My mouth didn't get as bored with chicken as it did with ground beef. Like chicken never felt appalling to me. At some point in this diet, some days red meat did feel a bit like I didn't want to go near it, but chicken was always kind of like, it was like a safe food. It was like a treat. Anyways, so that is like the full extent of what I ate in these 34 days. Okay, now I want to talk about supplements really quickly. I just took the same supplements I was always taking, except for iron. I swapped out iron and put in potassium because you can have a potassium deficiency on this diet. So I just took out the iron because I was literally eating so much red meat that I would have probably just been peeing the iron out at this point. So I took out the iron, put in potassium. So all in all, I was taking potassium, probiotic, glucosamine, B12, vitamin D, 2 different types of fish oil, and magnesium. Now, if I was smart, you know what I probably could have taken out? Both types of the fish oil, also the B12, and the glucosamine. I probably could have taken all of those out with the iron because I was eating a ton of more fish. I was eating just a lot of fat through like butter. I was also eating a ton of red meat, which I didn't need the B12 anymore. And what else? The glucosamine. I take the glucosamine for my joints, but again, this is like a diet that helps with inflammation. So I really probably didn't need to take the glucosamine, but I didn't want to fuck around and find out. So I just kept taking everything except for the iron. I will tell you what I added in. That's kind of not a supplement, but I was like treating it like a supplement, which was I started eating raw liver. I would eat an ounce of raw liver every day. What I did is I would cut it up into pieces and I would freeze it. And then I would just take out like about an ounce worth of pieces after my first meal, and I would just eat them like that. I would call them my forbidden frozen meat popsicles. I didn't hate it because I did try cooking the liver and eating it that way, and I did hate it. So I just froze it and ate it raw. I found it felt better in my mouth. The mouthfeel of frozen liver is much better than of raw liver or cooked liver. And also the taste was a bit more subdued when it was frozen. And also I wasn't like eating to taste it at that point. I was just like chewing and swallowing it and like, not breathing through my nose. And now I just find it very easy. I don't mind eating the liver. But that's what I was supplementing during this diet. The liver especially, they tell you have to eat organ meat on the carnivore diet. You have to, because that's where all of kind of like the bioavailable nutrients are that you're missing and lacking from fruits and vegetables. They are in the organ meat. So you have to eat organ meat. That's what they say. That's what they say. Not me, they. So those are all the supplementations I did. All right, let's now talk about the pros. So there are 3 pros that I had with this diet. The first pro, which is not really like a pro if you don't want it to be, but of course, because I wanted my summer body ready, I obviously lost weight. I lost 10 pounds in this month of carnivore. I originally started at 160, which was like 73 kg, somewhere around there. And I perfectly ended at 150, which was like 68 kg, I think. So that was a nice pro. I would say I lost the majority of it literally within the first like week or 2 weeks. The first 5 days, I lost 6 pounds. And then over the next kind of week and a half, I lost another 2 to 3 pounds. And then I just like chilled at 151 for the rest of the time. And just recently I hit 150. So I lost almost all the weight right in the beginning. And people are like, that's water weight. I'm like, okay, damn. I didn't need that water. I really didn't need it. So happy for that. And that is it. That's pro number 1. Pro number 2 is sleep. This was the weirdest one for me, and the one that I like did not think would happen at all. I had like no expectation for this. I just slept better and woke up earlier. For anybody who knows me, I need like 12 to 14 hours of sleep. I love sleeping. Sleep is my favorite. I always take naps in the day. I am a sleepy girl. Sleep. If I need to be woken up sometime in the day, like I need to set an alarm. If somebody has made plans with me at noon, an alarm needs to be set for me to get out of the bed. Like, this is no joke. If I need to do something in the day that is not in the late afternoon time, an alarm has to be set. And that's always been me. I started this diet, and like by the end of week 1, I was sleeping 8 hours, and then I was just up. My body was just waking up at 9. And I was like, girl, who is this? Not me, not Mel. But alas, it is Mel. And I've pretty consistently not need an alarm. I don't set alarms anymore because my body just like gives up on sleeping, which my body's not a quitter when it comes to sleep. She used to sleep forever. She could sleep through a whole night, a whole day, and a whole night. I've done that once before. But now I guess I sleep very deeply. I don't know. Or my body just really wants to go in the day. But here's the thing. I don't think my energy is that increased during the day. I don't need a nap anymore. Like I don't nap during the day anymore, but it's not like I'm buzzing with energy in the day. Like people on carnivore are like, I'm just buzzing with energy. I feel like my energy level is very still the same, which is like chill. I'm not like running to a HIIT workout or anything, but I don't feel the need to take a nap anymore. And I can't keep sleeping in the morning like I used to. I used to be like, oh, I have nothing to do today. I'll just keep sleeping. What a treat. I can't do that anymore. So that was pro number 2, which is really weird. There you go. My last and final pro that I want to talk about is the discipline that this diet gave me. I think more than anything, this wasn't really like a diet. I think it was more of like a mental challenge. So since it was such a hard diet, you literally can eat only meat and you're having no carbs, no sugar, no nothing, like no bread, no rice. You're only drinking water and milk if you're drinking milk. Like, those are the only things you're drinking. I'm not drinking caffeine. There's no alcohol. There's no nothing. Nothing. I need you guys to understand this. I didn't even have tea. When I wanted to snuggle into bed at the end of the day and have like a warm little drink, I was drinking hot water. I went to bed snuggling my hot water because you can't even have tea. So the mental strength that it gave me, I really saw in the gym. I really pushed myself harder in the gym. I really implemented more kind of like habits in the gym that I would have never done. Like I was sticking to my regimented cardio, even though I really do cardio every time. Sometimes I would slack on it. Like I would just do 15 minutes instead of like 30, or I would just do like, I would do less intensity. But I was sticking fully to my cardio. And also I implemented ab circuit at the end of every workout. So I would do hanging leg raises and a dead hang at the end of every workout because I just really wanted to do that. And I've never had the mental strength to convince myself to do that every time. And now I do. Also, I became much more disciplined, just like with my work. Going out, like I did not break the alcohol thing once, and I'll tell you, here in the UK, that's the only pastime, is drinking in the pub. So did I see a lot of people during the month of April? No. I did do a few things, actually. I did a lot of random wholesome things. I had to go to a lot of community events because of stuff I was doing with school, and all of those events have refreshments like tea and coffee and biscuits, and I had to smile and drink my hot water every time I went to one of those. So the discipline was there. She's ironclad now. So that was pro number 3. So I feel like I have a lot more discipline. Okay, I feel like I've been talking so much and my little throat is starting to hurt. So I'm gonna speed through the rest. Next, I'm gonna talk about cons. The biggest con was you can't really have anything. So you can't really do anything. This is what I kind of touched on. So I think I went out once with friends to a pub and I sat there drinking my water. It was brutal and I never did that again. I did like some study dates, obviously, because you're not eating, but there was literally nothing else to do. My friends that go to the gym don't go to the same gym as me, so I didn't really go to the gym with anyone, and I just do that alone anyways. So you can't really do anything with people because everybody always wants to include food and drink, and you just can't have it. And people get really upset when you say you can't have it. Like when I went out to the pub with my friends, they were like, just have a drink. I'm like, no, I literally can't. So that's a big thing. You can't have nothing. Also, it's just really hard to not have any sugar or any flavor, like sweet, nice flavor. Also, because I had a lot of really horrible things happen to me within the month of April, especially within a span of 8 days. I got a horrible haircut. I got 2 of the worst grades ever. My cat back home died. And then I literally got scammed and I had 40 pounds removed from my debit card account and I had to cancel my card. All of that happened within 8 days. Did I want a fucking drink? Yes. Did I want to dive into, a Subway sandwich? Yeah. Or a donut? Yeah. But I really couldn't. So that's kind of like a pro though. Like, again, the discipline, that's a pro. But the con was, there was no leniency for life. It doesn't matter if you're having a shitty day, you have to get up and go cook your bland ass ground beef. So it really solidified like me being down in the dumps. There was nothing worse. By the end of that week, I literally felt like I was being divinely tested. And I was just sitting there eating my friggin' ground beef. And I just was like, why am I doing this to myself? Anyways, so that was con number 1. Con number 2 is I was weaker in the gym. There is a side note to this though. This is in April, but in March, I did not go to the gym. I think the total I went to the gym was 4 times because my gym app literally tells me, and I only went 4 times because I got very sick in March and then I had like a slew of assignments due at the end and then it was my birthday. So all in March, I only went 4 times. So I had already lost a lot of strength because I was very consistently going to the gym in January and February. I was really building it. I was really pushing myself hard. And then in March, I never went. So I already lost a bunch of strength from being sick and not being in the gym from March. So then when I came back to the gym finally in April, I was then also not eating any sugar, any carbs, nothing. So of course I felt extremely weak at the beginning. Like I'm telling you, week, I couldn't hit the same numbers I was hitting with anything. I was severely having to take the weight down across the whole board, legs, upper body, everything. And I felt the progression was slow. I felt like I couldn't push myself as hard. So like I would usually up the weight. Like normally I would up the weight and even just try for a few. I would go even higher on that last set, even if I could just push up 5 or 6 and I could like force myself to really reach a higher PR. I couldn't do that. Like there was no pretending that I could push myself. I really had to just do lower weight, more steady, controlled movements. Now, through the month of April, obviously that changed. And now I'm finally seeing where I was back in February. Like I've just now reached the bottom of the numbers I was back in February. So like my kind of starting-ish weights, like where it's challenging, but I'm warming up. Now those are my hardest weights. So I will give you an example. By the end of February, I was doing leg extensions, warming up at 100 pounds, and I was pushing to about 130, 145. Now I warm up at 70, 75 pounds, and I'm pushing at 100 pounds. That's where my legs are. So that's kind of showing you how much my strength has decreased, but it was even more decreased in the beginning. Like I'm telling you, I felt like I was literally a dying Victorian child in the beginning. But now I am getting back to where I was. Also, I was weaker at the beginning outside of the gym too. The first 3 days of carnivore, I felt so nauseous, so nauseated. I don't know why. I thought I was going to get headaches. A lot of people experience headaches at the beginning of carnivore because you're having no sugar, no coffee, no caffeine. Because I was trying to break my energy drink habit. I was so addicted to energy drinks. I was drinking like 1 or 2 every day, which has a ton of like fake sugar and caffeine in it. So I thought I was going to get a bunch of headaches. No, I was nauseous as hell the first 3 days. And I don't know why. And I think those first 3 days scared me straight for the rest of the month. Because I think that was what my sugar withdrawal looked like. I just felt sick. Like I felt like I was like a heroin addict. I literally felt so nauseous. And so I was so scared of even mistakenly having more sugar within the month of April because I didn't want to go through the nauseous period again. So that's also why I was so strict and so disciplined, because I was like, I don't want to experience that again. The first 3 days I felt awful, but I recovered after that. All right, so that is basically all of my carnivore journey. Here are my end thoughts. I liked the discipline it instilled. I found it hard, but not too hard. Like by the like middle of it, and especially when I was telling you about when I had that horrible week of bad luck, my mom and my dad were like, oh, like, I can't believe you're doing this stupid diet too at this time. Like, you should just get yourself a little treat. And I was like, you know what? I understand what you're saying, but I don't feel like I need to. Like, I'm actually quite fine not having a little treat because I'm over the phase. The beginning was the hardest for me. Also, the day before my period, I did go crazy the day before my period. So that again was also in the middle. And I will say I did cheat. I had some natural date bar thing. So I had no sugar, no additives. So it was like this bar that's made out of dates. And like there's cashews in it or something. I did have that. It was like the night before my period and I thought I was actually going to go crazy. And then I was like, do you want to have a whole sleepless night just thinking about sugar, or should I just eat this date thing? And so I just ate the date thing. But other than that, I had no sugar. And thankfully I didn't have like a sugar withdrawal after that. Because I think it was literally, it's like this big natural, it was literally just fruit. But my end thought, yeah, that I liked it. Didn't mind it. So this is the end of the month. We're now in May. And now I'm switching from carnivore to animal-based. And if you're like, Mel, well, if you liked it, why don't you stick with it? Well, here's the thing. Why? I felt like I was very socially restricted. Like I could not go out to eat. And it was bothering everyone. It was bothering everyone that I was carnivore. Not like I care. I really don't care what other people think. But I was getting tired, like constantly justifying myself. So now I just tell people, I'm like, yep, I'm basically back on a normal diet. Like, if you want to go out, we can go out. And I'll just order what I can order. There's no problem with that. I did just go to Comic-Con yesterday. And I did go out and eat. And I had like a, not carnivore meal. But like, it wasn't crazy. And I just make more mindful choices. Like we went to Spoons and I had bangers and mash. So I had like sausages and mashed potatoes. I'm trying not to eat gluten on the animal base. I'm trying to steer away from gluten. But I'm adding back in fruits and veg. I'm going to be adding back in rice eventually. Not yet, but I will be adding back in rice. But I've added back in like potatoes, because that's a veg, it's a starch. But some potatoes. I'm not going to have them all the time, but just sometimes. I'm going to cook the meals I was cooking on Carnivore and eat them mostly, but now I'm going to add back in fruits for energy. I'm going to be able to go out with friends, you know, and have a meal here and there. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to switch to an animal-based whole foods diet. That's where I am right now.
Sorry, this is an editor's note. I realized in my yammering, I didn't really explain what an animal-based whole foods diet was going to be. But basically, I want to cut out seed oils, preservatives, additives, added sugar, fake sugars, things like sucralose. That is what I will be cutting out, and I will be focusing on one ingredient, whole foods, meat, dairy, veg, fruit.
And that was my carnivore journey. And I filmed this instead of going to the gym. That's why I have no makeup on and my gym clothes on. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed my carnivore diet journey video. I hope you guys learned something, or if you're curious about the carnivore, I hope this helped you learn a bit more about it. If you have any questions down below, please leave them. I reply to all of my comments. And just thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Love you very much. Bye.